The weekend is here and rest is near. It's a Friday. Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. My name is Wally Scott. Welcome on the show. Now, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has again excluded Nigerian center referees from the list of officiating officials at the forthcoming African Cup of Nations in Cameroon. Only one Nigerian, Samad Bakam, was listed as an assistant referee by the continental body for the tournament, which kicks off January 9th, 2022. CAF has failed to list the Nigerian center referee in the last 5 editions of the Continental Showpiece, spanning a decade, while more than one assistant referee from the West African nation has been called up for continental duties per tournament. However, Peter Edibe represented the country at the AFCON on 5 different occasions, 2008 to 2015, as an assistant referee, while fellow countryman Abel Baba was at the 2017 and 2019 editions in Gabon and Egypt. The only Nigerian referee in Cameroon, Pakam, will be making his AFCON debut at the event. I think I have Stanley Ikawo on the show. Stanley, welcome on the show.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being on the show.
Welcome on. Now, Stanley, it's a shame that Nigeria consistently calls themselves the giants of Africa, and we don't giant anything. But as far as I'm concerned, in the last 15 years, no Nigerian referee has been a center referee for AFCON, ever.
I think that's most of the time working. Now, there are requirements referees need to meet before they are certified.
Very good. Explain to us like what? Explain to us like what?
Now, on the other hand, what has been the latest of our referees? I remember the last Olympics, we had an female referee, Eden. Now, having said that, first we have a league that seems to be unlikely. All things being equal, like they said, the 2 kick back pay, anything against Raymond. Now, my point exactly is this. Do we have quality referees that we can boast of? I'm not talking about assistant referees, center referees now. Do we have any that we can boast of? I think yes. But then because of the shenanigans working our football and unprofessional manner at some of our referees officiate this is the reason, are some of the reasons why our referees are not being looked at. I'm not saying unprofessional officiating don't happen in other similar clients. Now they don't so that our viewers will consider attention. But my point is it's becoming an unbearable syndrome in this part of the world. And that's why I'm not surprised. But then we need to put our act right, we need to get our action, put our hands in order. If we hope to get that international recognition at every level entirely.
Okay, I don't know if I have Sayo Oguntoye on the phone yet. Okay, so now Stanley, I know there was a point in Nigeria about 4 or 5 years ago when our referees were taken to London for a course. Honestly, when they went and came back, our football officiating improved. No doubt about that. After a while, it went back to normal. Are you saying all those courses they've gone for, all those things they've done, won't qualify at least one Nigerian referee to be a center referee at the AFCON? At least one.
Wale, who is the head of the Nigerian referee? That's the first question. How well does he understand the nitty-gritty of refereeing? Has he ever officiated any match, whether it's that our don't look at government league or not? Has he ever done any? Now, what qualifications does he have to become the head of the Nigerian institution? Let's just keep saying this party or my brother, my sister kind of work, the kind of way we run our football in this part of the world is the reason why we are where we are. And we keep roaming around. Remember, you have to kind of make one point. If you don't improve yourself, then you cannot do what you don't have. That's simple as that. Let's look at the head. Who is the head of the Nigerian Constitution? No. So from there, maybe we just get a clearer picture of what we should expect or what we should not, or how we should get things right, how to correct the wrongs and make it right. Because as it stands now, we start putting the right things in the right place. While we keep talking, we keep having our faith, we keep having their way. Okay,
now, Stanley, before I let you go, we have countries like Namibia, Uganda, who have center referees in AFCON. Are you saying those ones were improving themselves individually, or the country was doing it for them, or how can you say Nigeria can't be compared to a referee from Namibia, from Uganda?
You see, when we keep depending on the government to fund some certain things in this part of the world, it becomes a problem. Now, this is what I'm trying to point out. A lot of Ghana never waited for the NFF or the presidency or the National Assembly or one Senate or one House of Representatives to foot his bill to go into his job. Like you actually said, we waited 4 years ago to take 4 referees out of the shores of this country to go build them. Now, it's not a must away. If you have the funds, go ahead, self-build yourself. Now, if you self-build yourself, who thinks from there you cannot gain experience, and of course you cannot be expert, and of course maybe one or two clubs, one or two leagues might just think, okay, let's just try this guy out. Not a female referee became a world referee at the World Cup, and at the World Stage, he didn't just get there by his or by him. He orchestrated male football games. So what does that tell you? If you know your onion, if you know your capacity, and then you will not be tossed around, and that's why referees in Nigeria always be tossed around.
Thank you very much, Stanley Ikawo, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Wally.
I think what Stanley is trying to say, and he has a point there, is that in Nigeria, we have a major problem. Let's just say it today once and for all. If the rain falls too more, we blame the government. If the sun is too hot, we blame the government. Sometimes we should do things by ourselves. If the government won't send you for a course, a coaching course, or for whatever course, if you can do it by yourself or raise the money by yourself, come on. It's for your own good, not for the government's good all the time, really, if you ask me. Now, Bayer Leverkusen squandered a 2-goal lead for the second successive game in their 2-2 draw with Hoffenheim. Now, informed striker Patrick Schick put the host 2-0 up with goals either side of half-time. He's now scored each of Leverkusen's last 8 goals. However, with 10 minutes remaining, Hoffenheim began a stirring comeback when Angelo Schicker scored his first Bundesliga goal from the tightest of angles. The draw keeps Leverkusen in 3rd in the Bundesliga table, above Hoffenheim. Now, okay, do I have Sayo Oguntoye yet? No, I don't. Okay, now Andy Murray saw fellow Briton Dan Evans in straight sets to advance at the Mudabala World Tennis Championship in Abu Dhabi. Now, Murray won in a first competitive career meeting between the pair 6-3, 6-2, with Evans coming into the match as a late replacement. Now, former number 1 Murray faces RAFAEL NADAL next. A first matchup between the duo since the Spaniard was beaten on the Madrid day in 2016. Now, I have Sayo Oguntoye on the phone. Sayo, welcome on the show.
Beautiful morning to you, Wallace. It's good to be here once again.
Now, Sayo, we're talking about referees, and that once again, Nigerian referees have been excluded from being the center referee in any match in AFCON. And we're asking ourselves, I just spoke to Stanley, and Stanley said, must we always wait for government to do everything for us? Our referees can improve themselves on their own, raise their money, go abroad and improve themselves. Why wait for government? When we have center referees like from Namibia, from Uganda, and the so-called giants of Africa, Nigeria, I've never had a center referee in AFCON. Never.
It's a laughable situation, actually. You mentioned countries like Uganda, countries like Namibia having referees in AFCON, and Nigeria does not even have someone to represent them. It shows you the credibility of our league itself. Sometimes we tend to see so many games won at home and away, or even away picking, the way by picking a point. It's really difficult, and that's because sometimes these referees are being, I don't know the word to use now, because sometimes they're not just being themselves. They are being intimidated by the home fans, by the arbitrators themselves, and all the whatnot. So it makes it extremely difficult for them to actually become a good referee.
Now, let's look at the Mudabala Tennis Championship. Andy Murray beats Dan Evans. Number 1 is back, but Murray just comes and okay, let's see the match, and then we'll come back and talk about it, Sayo. Now, Sayo, I have a colleague of mine. His name is Temisan. He's a big fan of Andy Murray. But I've always told him Andy Murray was a fluke when he became number one. He thought I was joking. Now, Andy Murray is ranked 100 and something now. And that was their number one those days that they were all jumping over. But the point is, Andy Murray will come into a competition, shine in the first match, second match, and then crash out disgracefully in the third one, and then wait for another competition again. Will this guy ever come back up again? Hello, Sayo.
Well, Andy Murray is either here or there. Because if you look at him, that is just like an epitome of the British hype. You know, even the British players, the football players, you know, they are being overhyped. So Andy Murray, to me, is not even in the class of you know, the likes of Djokovic, Federer, Nadal, and co. He's not in their class yet. So British, yes, he is one of the best, if not the best so far. And winning Dan Evans is just a mere feat. I mean, it's not a great tennis player, so to say. But if he's going to come back strong against the likes of Novak, I think that's a big ask. That's a very big ask.
Okay, stay with us, Sayo. Now, five-time Australian Open finalist Rafael Nadal says he will fight hard to be at this year's tournament, but is managing expectations as he returns from injury. The Spaniard has been out of action since August with a left foot injury, as also saw him withdraw from Wimbledon and the Olympics. But he will return in an exhibition event in the UAE, the Mudabala, when he will play Andy Murray later today. Sayo, Rafa puts a lot of intensity into his fights when he's playing, and a lot of strength. So he gets injured easily these days. Injury today, he's fit tomorrow. But now he says he's back, and hopefully he will stay back for a long time.
Well, injury is part of the game. That's the truth about it. He's expecting to be fit, to be back for the next Australian Open. And I think, like he is saying now, he doesn't have big expectations coming into this tournament. Yes, because, you know, he's still rusty, though. He's been working on his body. He wants to keep fit so he can, you know, contest for titles yet again. But I think the likes of Djokovic, the likes of Roger are still slightly ahead of him at this moment, especially for Djokovic. And
this is something that everybody wants to talk about, Sayo. So let's look at this story first, and then we'll come back and talk about it extensively. Now, Red Bull's Max Verstappen collected his Formula One World Champion trophy at a gala awards ceremony and looked forward to fighting seven-time title holder Lewis Hamilton again next season. His Mercedes rival, beaten this year on the last lap of the last race, did not attend this event at the Louvre Museum in Paris. Speaking to reporters earlier, Verstappen recognized his Mercedes rival's suffering. Mercedes team boss Toto Wolff, who was also absent, indicated his uncertainty over his disallowed driver's future after last Sunday's finale in Abu Dhabi. Now, Sayo, let's lay bare, say it as it is. What people are saying is that racing is a rich kid's game. It's not for poor children. But Lewis Hamilton, a black poor boy from Peckham in London, that's a poor part of London. He comes from nowhere and comes to dominate a rich kid's game. He's not a rich kid. And they say the reason why they didn't want him, if he had won that title on last Sunday, he would have been an 8th-time winner, a GOAT, greatest ever. And that the white folks in that part of the game did not want that to happen, Sayo. Do you agree with that?
Well, I strongly do not want to agree with that. One thing about Max Verstappen is that he gets better and better season by season. You know, it's now a keenly contested battle between these two warhorses now, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. And I was actually happy to see Verstappen coming and, you know, getting this for the second title. I'm very happy. Now, we are going to see much more keenly contested battle in years to come between Red Bull and then the Mercedes, because the Formula One has actually been dominated straightly by, you know, the Mercedes, sometimes the Red Bull, but it's much more difficult now, and you can't really say, oh, this thing goes through, because, you know, sometimes it doesn't still depend on the engines of this vehicle. Sometimes it depends on the team, on the driver himself, and then the tactics it displays, you know, for each for each rally or for each race.
Okay, before I let you go, Sayo, Lewis Hamilton wasn't there in Paris for this event. He says, people say he's angry, but he said, no, I'm not angry. I was in London collecting the Knight Bachelor from Prince Charles of London, which is a British boy. So, and that's the highest award. He's his son. He's not Sir Lewis Hamilton. So that's why I couldn't make it. I'm not angry.
Yeah, I want to also say that I think that was also what turned the title to the Red Bull's favor, because if Louis was there in Brazil, maybe Louis might have gotten that win in that race. But we never can still say, because it's something that is subject to a debate. But it's a keenly contested battle. I love the season, how it ended, so tight, so close, and it's unpredictable.
Thank you very much, Sayo. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm going to leave you on the show today with NBA LA Lakers basketball. A rookie, Austin Reeves, actually made it happen against Dallas Mavericks, and they won 107-104. A very close game. My name is Wiley Scott. Join us same time on Monday, same station, Plus Sports and Plus TV Africa. Like I always advise you at the end of every show, if not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sports.